Welcome to the Canadian Rockies and the ultimate travel guide to Banff and Jasper National Parks. In this video, I'll show you how to get here, how to get around, where to stay, where to eat, and what there is to do and see in Canada's two most popular national parks. So that being said, let's begin our journey in beautiful and foggy Banff. The town of Banff is easy to get to and is a little more than an hour's drive from Calgary. The park is large and it's pretty easy to get around by driving on either the Trans-Canada Highway, the Bow Valley Parkway, or to the north of the park, the Icefields Parkway. Driving is definitely the easiest way to get around, but if you don't have a vehicle, you can bike around the park if that's your jam. Banff does have a decent public transportation system called Roam. There's plenty of accommodation in Banff. Most of the hotels are in or near to the Banff Townsite, and there's also accommodation in Lake Louise. Hotels can be a little pricey, but it's a popular place, so it does come with the territory, I guess. And there's a wide variety of accommodation, from simple inns to fancy hotels and resorts. If you're traveling here in the summer, well, you will pay a premium and you should look to book early, as it can be tough to find a reservation. Plus, there are some hotels that have a minimum stay of 2 nights in the summer, so be aware of that. But if staying at an expensive hotel is not what you want or isn't in your budget, there are other options as well. There are cabins, bed and breakfasts, hostels, and camping. Speaking of camping, there are 14 campgrounds in the park with more than 2,400 campsites, and most of them are reservable. The town of Banff has 5 campgrounds in the general area with over 1,500 sites. During the peak summer tourist season, these campgrounds fill up fast, as you can see, so it's smart to book your campground well in advance. You can book your campground on the Parks Canada website. Yep, you can eat here. If you're wandering Banff Avenue, you will walk by loads of restaurants, and the selection is fairly diverse. There are over 100 restaurants in Banff, and they range, as you would expect, from fast food places, pizza places, coffee houses, grills, breweries, and the fancy smancy restaurants, if you're into that sort of thing. If you want to enjoy a meal with $1 million view, well, that's here too, as there are some spectacular places to eat with views of the Rockies. There are plenty of attractions here in Banff, as you probably already know. From the physical beauty of the surreal landscapes to the old world charm of the many historic buildings, Banff is a picture window to this alpine heaven. But it is more than that. It's also the wildlife, the outdoor activities. It's walking in the town of Banff at night with the snow falling. I mean, the first time you see this town, or Lake Louise, Moraine Lake, or Peyto Lake, it is a moment that will stay with you forever. All right then, a good place to start are the attractions in and around the townsite of Banff. The Banff Townsite is a wonderful place to walk around. You could easily spend a day or so doing just that. In the summer, Banff Avenue, in the central downtown area, closes down to traffic and becomes a pedestrian walking mall. And if this is your first time to Banff, there's a wonderful information center right on Banff Avenue. And you can even charge your electric vehicle there while you wait. If you're looking for a shirt that says Banff or some maple syrup or a Hudson's Bay blanket, well, you will find them here in Banff. There are some very nice galleries too, if you want to put a piece of Banff up on your wall. If you like museums, there is the Banff Park Museum Natural Historic Site, Buffalo Nation's Luxton Museum, the White Museum of the Canadian Rockies, and the beautiful and historic Cavan Basin. On one end of Banff Avenue is the beautiful Cascade Gardens, which offers great views of the town and where you can take your iconic photo of the town of Banff. It's equally beautiful in the winter as well. Just outside of the center of town is the world-famous Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel, which is well worth a visit. If you want a great photo of the hotel, the best location for that is Surprise Corner. Parking is limited, and it's best to get there early in the morning to beat the crowds. When you're at Surprise Corner, you'll get a glimpse below of Bow Falls, which are also beautiful and well worth seeing. Up the mountain above the Banff Springs Hotel is Sulphur Mountain Hot Springs, if you want to soak after a long day of sightseeing. If you want the best views of Banff, head up the Banff Gondola. There's a coffee shop and restaurant at the top, as well as some beautiful walks and even, well, if you're lucky, some mountain goats. During the summer, you should book your tour well in advance. Within a very short drive from the center of town, you'll find Cascade Ponds and 3 beautiful lakes: Vermilion Lakes, Tujac Lake, and Lake Minnewanka. Lake Minnewanka is the largest lake in Banff National Park, and they have boat rides in the summer. While the town of Banff is a wonderful place to start your visit to the park, and it's a pretty convenient hub, there is so much more to see in the rest of the park. Johnston Canyon offers awe-inspiring natural beauty with its dramatic waterfalls, deep blue pools, and towering cliffs. Thankfully, the canyon is easy to access as a well-maintained trail leads you through lush forest and narrow canyon paths. All right, I'm here at Johnston Canyon in Banff. I've always believed that Johnston Canyon is highly underrated. It is beautiful. So if you like the outdoors, if you like hiking, it's a pretty easy hike, come to Johnston Canyon. Now, it's May and it's 8 a.m. and it's very quiet, which is unusual because in the summer at 8 a.m. it's already filling up. So get here early. As we leave Johnston Canyon, we'll head north to Lake Louise. From Johnston Canyon, you have a choice of taking either the Trans-Canada Highway or the Bow Valley Parkway. The Trans-Canada Highway is certainly faster, but the Bow Valley Parkway is more beautiful. You'll also likely to find more wildlife on the Bow Valley Parkway. In fact, I was here just about a year ago and saw a beautiful black bear right alongside the highway, and this is not uncommon. However, the Bow Valley Parkway is only fully open during the summer months. So, Lake Louise, well, I have to start by saying this is my favorite place in Banff National Park. It's beautiful year-round, it's accessible year-round, and there's plenty to do when you're here. It also has enough development and infrastructure to satisfy most visitors while not, hopefully, interfering too much with the natural environment. There are a number of hotels, smaller inns, and cabins in the Lake Louise area. They're located either in the town site, which is just off of the Trans-Canada Highway and easy to get to, or on the road up to the lake, or in the case of the Fairmont Chateau, right behind me, right on the lake, with some of the most exquisite alpine views in the world. I've been fortunate to stay at the Chateau a few times, and I have to say the Chateau is my favorite hotel in Banff National Park, but it's very, very expensive. If you're looking for something a little more affordable, well, there's camping. Lake Louise has 2 campgrounds in the area, Lake Louise soft-sided and Lake Louise hard-sided. While these 2 campgrounds are nice and convenient, you're not limited to these campgrounds. Not too far from Lake Louise is Protection Mountain Campground to the south and Silverhorn Campground, which, by the way, is stunning, to the north. The campgrounds are very busy in the summer, so be sure to reserve your spot weeks or even months in advance. While Lake Louise does not enjoy as many restaurants as nearby Banff, don't worry, there are plenty of options, although there's no Tim Hortons or any chain fast food restaurants at the moment. My favorite places to grab a bite in Lake Louise include the Lake Louise Railway Station and Restaurant for something that's quite unique and generally not quite as crowded as other places, and also the Lakeview Lounge, which is actually behind me at the Chateau. Good food, yep, and one of the most iconic views in North America. If you have not visited Lake Louise before, I highly recommend you stop off at the Visitor Center. The Visitor Center is located in the village of Lake Louise, very close to the highway. The jewel of Banff National Park is Lake Louise, which is famous for its mesmerizing turquoise waters surrounded by beautiful towering peaks. You can explore the lake by leisurely walking along the shoreline to the Victoria Glacier at the far end of the lake. If you prefer to be on the lake, well, you can canoe around the lake in the summer months or ice skate on the lake in the winter. Of course, if you feel like doing nothing but enjoying the scenery, well, there's no judgment here. The Lake Agnes Tea House, which is up that mountain over there, and of course you'll have to hike up that mountain to get there, and it does tend to be fairly busy in the summer months, and it's only open in the summer, but the view, oh, it's worth the hike. One of the most photographed lakes in the world is not far from Lake Louise, and that is Moraine Lake. Moraine Lake boasts vibrant blue waters and a backdrop of the Valley of the 10 Peaks. The Rock Pile Trail offers a short hike with panoramic views of the lake and surrounding mountains. Now, a couple of words, though, about Moraine Lake. It's not only very popular, but really it's too popular. You can no longer drive to the lake and must take a tour or a shuttle bus to get there. If you're still interested, check the Canada Parks website for details on how you can book your place on the shuttle bus. During the summer months, you can ride the Lake Louise gondola to the top of Mount Whitehorn for panoramic views of the surrounding mountains and Bow Valley. The views are beautiful for sure, but it's also a great way to potentially see bears from a safe distance. Covering 4 mountain faces, the Lake Louise Ski Resort is one of the largest ski resorts in the country and most certainly enjoys some of the most beautiful scenery. Another ski resort, Sunshine Mountain, is not far from Lake Louise and is also very large and incredibly beautiful. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel. Thanks. As we leave Lake Louise and head north, we enter the famous stretch of the Canadian Rockies, the Icefields Parkway. North of Lake Louise are 2 of the most famous and without doubt beautiful lakes in North America. Bow Lake is one of my favorites. The lake is undeniably gorgeous and is very easy to get to right off of the highway. Further north of Bow Lake is the incredible Peyto Lake. This lake is almost too spectacular to describe. It too is a short and easy drive right off of the highway. Both Bow Lake and Peyto Lake, while in Banff National Park, are part of the amazing Icefields Parkway that is shared with Jasper National Park. All right, well, let's now visit Jasper National Park, and we'll start in the heart of the park, the beautiful town site of Jasper. Jasper is located immediately north of Banff National Park. The town of Jasper is about a 3.5-hour drive from the Banff Townsite. In reality, though, it'll take much more time than that, as there are so many things to stop and look at along the way. And of course, we'll be covering all of the sites in the park later on in the video. In addition to driving to the park, you can travel to Jasper by bus or train. And yes, you will need a Parks Canada pass to enter Jasper. The best way to get around the park is by vehicle. Public transportation is limited to the town site and local areas only. If you need some assistance while in the park, there is a great visitor center in town. This beautiful log and stone building is open year-round. Accommodation options within Jasper National Park range from campgrounds to luxury hotels. In the town of Jasper, you'll find hostels, motels, bed and breakfasts, and vacation rentals. The primary location for accommodation is the town of Jasper, but you'll also find lodging on the edge of town and just outside the town of Jasper. As you head south into the park, you will find additional lodging at the Columbia Icefield and Saskatchewan River Crossing. Camping is a real highlight in Jasper. You know, if you dig camping, being in nature, and exposed to wildlife and all of the elements in the mountains. But if you do, there are over 1,700 campsites spread amongst 14 campgrounds in the park. The largest campground is Whistler's, that's where I'm at right now, and it has nearly 800 campsites and is only about 4 kilometers from town. The town of Jasper has that small town mountain feel, but it's still a tourist town, and as a result, there's a wide range of options when it comes to food. You'll find most of the restaurants located on Patricia and Connaught Streets. You will find fast food places such as A&W, smaller grills, waffle places, and even sushi, Italian, and Greek restaurants. If you want something a little bit different with a killer view, you can eat at the Summit Restaurant on the top of Whistler's Mountain. To get there, you would take this SkyTram. Jasper National Park has some of the world's greatest scenic wonders, but there's also a lot of things other than just scenery to see in the park. So here are the main attractions in Jasper National Park. The Jasper SkyTram is another one of Jasper's many attractions and can whisk you to the top of Whistler's Mountain in about 7 minutes for panoramic views of the surrounding mountains, valleys, as well as the town of Jasper. The SkyTram is about 7 kilometers from the town of Jasper. Jasper National Park is designated as a dark sky preserve due to its remote location away from the major urban centers and minimal light pollution, which allows for clear views of the stars, planets, and yes, even the northern lights. If you want to see even more, Jasper has its own planetarium with the largest and most powerful telescopes in the North American Rockies. Jasper is home to Marmot Basin Ski Resort. While not as large as either Lake Louise or Sunshine Village to the south in Banff, it is far less crowded, so you'll probably enjoy more time on the slopes here in Jasper. Maligne Lake is the largest natural lake in the Canadian Rockies and one of the most beautiful. Boat tours and kayak or canoe rentals are available, so you can explore the lake and see the famous Spirit Island, which is one of the most photographed locations in the Rockies, and for a very good reason. If you're thinking about a boat tour, be sure you make advanced reservations as the tours book up very quickly in the summer. Maligne Canyon is a deep limestone gorge carved by the Maligne River over millions of years. The canyon is about 11 kilometers from the town of Jasper, and there is good parking when you arrive. There are 6 bridges that span the canyon, each offering a different perspective and views of the many waterfalls. Needless to say, be careful and of course stay only on the designated trails. Another popular attraction is the Miette Hot Springs, which is about 60 kilometers northeast of the town of Jasper. The natural hot springs are open from May through October. Pyramid Lake is a pristine glacial lake that boasts crystal clear turquoise water and sits at the base of Pyramid Mountain. This gorgeous little lake is less than 15 minutes drive from the town of Jasper and well worth a visit. The lake is popular for canoeing, kayaking, paddleboarding, and fishing. It's also the home to Pyramid Island and is a wonderful place to take your classic Jasper photo. There are many beautiful lakes in the park, and they include Lake Annette, Medicine Lake, and Patricia Lake. This beautiful section of the Canadian Rockies is one of the most beautiful drives in the world and starts in Jasper and ends in Lake Louise, or the opposite would be true, starting in Lake Louise and ending in Jasper. The entire stretch of this 227-kilometer-long Icefields Parkway is connected by Highway 93, aptly named the Icefields Parkway, which is a double-lane highway that winds along the Continental Divide. Not too far from Jasper, you will find 2 of the most beautiful waterfalls in the Rockies, Athabasca Falls and Sunwapta Falls. Athabasca Falls is about 32 kilometers south of the Jasper Townsite and very easy to get to. There is ample parking, although of course in the summer it does tend to fill up quickly. The falls is an easy walk from the parking lot. A little further south from Athabasca Falls is Sunwapta Falls. There are 2 main falls, the upper and lower falls. Once again, there's plenty of parking, but the summer finds these parking lots fairly full. So getting there early in the morning, like I did, makes sense. The falls are accessible by a short walk from the parking lot. In my opinion, the star attraction of Jasper National Park, and of course, the Icefields Parkway, is the Columbia Icefield. The Columbia Icefield is one of the largest ice fields in North America, covering an approximate area of 325 square kilometers, and is perhaps the most incredible attraction in the Canadian Rockies. The must-do adventure is the Icefield Tour, which utilizes a specialized ice explorer vehicle designed to traverse the rugged terrain of the glacier. These things cost over $1.3 million and have a top speed of, wait for it, 30 kilometers per hour. The tour includes the glacier skywalk, which is either exhilarating or terrifying, depending on how you feel about heights. The observation platform has a glass floor and hangs over 900 feet above the valley floor. It really is a wonderful attraction and engineering marvel. You can also partake in a more detailed guided tour of the glacier if you want more information about the research and preservation of this fragile ecosystem. A few final tips. Tours are available from May to late September. They're busy, so reserve your tickets well in advance and take warm clothing. Glaciers are cold. When you leave the ice field and continue south, take the time to enjoy the gorgeous surroundings. The drive itself and the views are definitely worth the price of admission. The Crowfoot Glacier Lookout is another one of the beautiful places to see epic scenery. From this pullover viewpoint on the Icefields Parkway, you can see the icy behemoth of Crowfoot Glacier that's nestled on the rocky flanks of Crowfoot Mountain. Not far from the glacier, in fact, only about 5 kilometers south, is Sunwapta Pass. This beautiful area marks the boundary between Jasper and Banff National Parks and the entry into Banff. Many visitors to the parks come with the hopes of seeing wildlife, and you know what? If you stay here long enough, you will. Both parks have caribou, elk, moose, mountain goats, bighorn sheep, wolves, and bears, both black and grizzlies. Now, an important word about bears: be safe. Respect their distance, respect the fact that they're wild animals, and take all notices very seriously. If you do hike, carry bear spray. Do not mess around with bears. The parks are an outdoor lover's wonderland with some of the very best hiking in the world. There's also world-class downhill and cross-country skiing, fishing, horseback riding, biking, golf, canoeing and kayaking, and the list goes on. And if you're a photographer, oh my goodness, you will never run out of compositions in the parks. So there you go, 2 of the most majestic national parks in the world, Banff and Jasper National Parks.